another video. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna share this one to Makers Movement and Never Was Skateboarding. Put out a special thank you today to Middle Age Shred. I accidentally posted one of today's videos to Middle Age Shred because my thumb missed the the correct. I was shooting for Makers Movement and I put it in Middle Age Shred, and the folks over at Middle Age Shred were really kind to me today because I know a lot of folks don't like when people accidentally or on purpose like spam a group. Hi, it's good to see some of the names on here. I see my friend Ben Winchester. Welcome to the feed. Mike Presley, Corey Rogers, thanks for joining me. Sam Cook, good to see you on here. Today's technically my third video. Tommy story on my brain all day. I was hoping to make it out this weekend. It doesn't look like I will. Brian Copeland. Oh yeah. I thought you might like seeing your name in lights today. Super grateful for Brian Copeland. Brian, it's not done yet, but it is here. It is long, and it is finishing up for you, my dear friend and brother. When it's thing again, we're trying to reconnect and all. Let's make sure that everything's cool. All right. So, David Phillips, good to see you. So I'm continuing today's videos. You guys want to see something funny? Here, this is funny. Here's a board, and here in the glue, what is this foreign object in the glue here? I can't quite make out what is that in there. Something got in the glue during the layup on that one. Must be a special fiber reinforcement that made it into the glue on that deck. How many of these decks that I make down here do you think have got my beard hairs in them? So I'm taking my beard out of my shirt. No audio. Oh, okay, let me see if I can fix that. Maybe that has to do with this headset I'm wearing. Can you guys hear me? I have a complaint that there's no audio. Looks like audio is coming through. You guys have audio? Just let me know, guys, if there's no audio here. I saw that Jake Dyer doesn't have audio. Good, okay. I'm glad the sound is coming through for you guys. I'm sorry if it's not for some folks. Good. Thank you, Jody West. Good to see you. Thanks, guys, for interacting with me. Thanks for being here today. This is another video on edging for the Makers Movement. Thank you so much, David Phillips, for being here. I'm just glad that we get to do any of this. Sometimes, I have a lot of waking up and being glad that I'm still alive. And I have a lot of waking up and realizing that since I'm still alive, I have to get to work. Some days, honestly, I feel overwhelmed, and I don't think that's something that's necessarily rare at all. But I don't think there's anything wrong with me that I feel that way, but I just gotta keep at it. But today I was doing videos on bringing boards through all the edge rounding. It's kind of the theme of the week. I'm gonna lift this up here. Sorry guys, I'm on my own tech level. And hard year last year, kind of an intense year. Cy and Ashley, good to see you guys. Grab my vape. I'm not complaining about the last year, but it's definitely been nuanced. And I'm glad that I am able to be in my workshop. I got my fans going, and I just finished rounding the edges on this little tiny pack of boards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 decks right now that I'm just finishing this little batch, and I have shut down the benches, and I have the shipping money that I need to send out what I need to send out to finish up my obligations from the last year or so. I mean, I'm just grateful for you guys being kind to me. There's only one order that stands out as having been a person who was frustrated and truly disappointed. Another order where I'm disappointed in myself that I actually finished that order and let it sit in my workshop while I just kind of fell apart. That order is supposed to go out to Iowa, and that person has my sincere apologies. That will be going out with these, I'll be getting everything out. I don't mean to be a weirdo, but we're talking about edge rounding this week, and we started on the YouTube, Happy Little Skateboards YouTube. Please do go and subscribe, because without 1,000 subscribers, I can't have a live interface with my friends on there, and I did not know that. But YouTube has raised the minimum. I can't have this kind of interaction, so I really would like to be able to do that. Some people are telling me to go to Twitch. I'm even thinking about doing Patreon because I want to travel around. I want to, thank you for subbing. I want to travel around and visit other makers. There are so many people doing better work than I am, different kind of work than I am, different kind of skateboards to the ones I make, and I want to get on my motorcycle and travel out and not be shilling my own brand, but be promoting these makers, because I think this is the future. I think this is one of the coolest things that's presently going on in American skateboarding. I really do. I just think this is the most skateboardery thing ever. And but I want to talk about these edges. It's all about refining the edge. And so now, after the final sanding, we've got my work, which is I am not the highest precision maker out there, and I am not the finest finisher out there. And I do think that some of my talk about rustic and authentic artisanal inclusion, I think some of that could simply be excuse for lack of skill. It could be excuses for lack of discipline and diligence, sure. And I'm not above copping to that, but I'm really happy with the kind of edging I'm seeing. And I've gone to skate shops and I've pulled boards off the wall and gone through them and seen and done audits myself on the craftsmanship that's available in the mainstream. And I'm very certain that the kind of craftsmanship not only that I'm doing, but is coming out of other workshops is just thumbs up, just really thumbs up. And especially if they get to sit in the press. This press doesn't have jacks in it. That's kind of a funny example, but if I just turn you a little bit, you get to see one with jacks. And I see Krista Yates on here. Krista, I'm waving at you. And I think there's a green button if you press it. If anyone wants to get on here with me, that'd be cool. See, that's something I'd like to be able to do more of, is actually interview people and do something like maybe a podcast kind of concept. I don't know. We'll see. I am interested in working in the idea factory of getting skateboarding to know what a treasure we've got in these small batch makers. So, hey, I'm yapping on and on, but these decks over here, I think while I was doing this batch, I was thinking about how much I value I'm different. I value rough edges and square edges, and I thought, I think for the next few decks I make, the next few batches, I think some folks are gonna have a little bit squarer edges. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to my roots and not be square edges or anything. Nothing that's gonna be chippy, but I'm gonna let myself lighten up a little bit and put a little more edge on my work. Maybe not these last couple of rounds of stuff, but I'm getting to where anywhere that it won't cause chipping, for there to be a little bit of a mark of, like, just some thoughts. But final rounding and refining of the edge, you can see none of those boards have holes in them. Now this is where I'm really different There are very few makers out there who choose to go this route, and it's not that it's a better route. It's just I don't know how to center a board before the edges are finished, because I make the edges swim all over the place between cutting at the bandsaw, finishing at the big disc wheel sander, and then moving into the router, which is going to dig, and then bringing the edge to round on the final edge sander over there. I mean, there's so many things that have to be nuanced and massaged out in the edge line of a board that I wouldn't feel like I was centering the trucks on the board until after the edges were finished. Many makers are much more skilled at at router work and edge work, and these are amazing people with really amazing skills. They're better than me, and they're able to center their holes before they even cut their edges or anything, and I have nothing but kudos and respect to them. And if among them there are some folks whose truck holes are not quite as centered as others, I gotta fall back on the fact that these things are not going into space, and as long as the trucks lie able to rattle parallel, and we can talk about that. But today, this is my final one today, I think, on edge rounding. There's a lot more to be said, and I wish that I could have someone else in the shop and somebody to talk to about it, and somebody with a camera, and then edit up a video just taking us through. Cy Whitmore, I love you too, brother. Nick Smith, good to see you. I wish I could have somebody to talk to and discuss it with while someone else filmed, and then we could edit a video that really could bring out some of the nuances in making these, because I think the upshot of it would be that people would be emboldened to make skateboards in their own localities. And now, the work of the makers movement has led to the veneer market is now open to selling small batches. I buy about 100 boards worth at a time, 20 to 100 boards worth at a time. I can't remember what my last orders were, but I want to see more makers working in America. I see makers like I see some really cool folks out there. One young man just blew my mind this week. I'm not going to say his name because he didn't ask to be put on blast, but he's like from the 90s, like a flip trick master. He and his brother are in like Visalia skate camp stuff, and this guy has got just 2 mold halves made of concrete. So with 6 bolts, and he presses boards one at a time just for himself in his bedroom closet. He's got like a strap that goes over and he lifts up the top half of the mold. He pops out 1 board at a time, and the guy is inspiring me. Then you've got, on the other end of it, you've got Sam Cook posted a video that I asked him to post on the makers movement, and Sam has got the capacity to make hundreds of boards per month, but there's no demand. The skate shops are definitely not interested in losing mainstream sales, which are like shooting fish in a barrel, to high craft. Think of all the words it takes to even wrap our heads around craft made boards, and I sympathize. I do. So, well, my friends, I'm gonna have to get off here, but I keep trying to think of what to say at the beginning and end of things, and I'm not very good at. Sometimes I'm really good at this stuff, and other times I'm not. But my heart is full of hope that through the love of making skateboards and riding skateboards, that perhaps we could be discovering greater loves, the love that we can have for one another, and perhaps that we could even experience some of the love that God has for us. You guys know that about me, and I do care about you, because I do have strong beliefs that every single one of us matters beyond estimation. So here's to all the big stuff that really matters. And thank you all for joining me on here. I'm gonna wind up doing the same thing. I'll save this video and I'll repost it to Happy Little Skateboards on YouTube. And I would ask that you would also subscribe to that channel, and also keep me in mind or in prayer as I go forward, because I'm looking for I'm torn between Twitch as a platform and TikTok. And Jake, I'm glad that you fixed your audio problem. Jake Dyer, Jake Benz, good to see you on here. And I will be back at you probably tomorrow multiple times with more from the workshop. This week we were talking about rounding edges, from the laminate trimmer to the big drum sander. I have more to say about it, because I want to also take us to I want to take us through rounding the edges with a plain old school rasp, and rounding the edges with a rough grit on a palm sander, and talk about what that looks like as well. I do not have a belt sander in my workshop right now that I like using. I've got one parked over there that I don't like using. It has a bad bearing, it makes noise, it was old when I got it. But rounding the edges on a belt sander, followed up, there's so many ways to skin a cat. And of course, so many things to say about that, but I don't have the wherewithal to make those videos yet. But my heart goes with you. May the road rise. I like y'all more than a friend, and I will catch you. I'll catch you in the next video. Please do that subscribing thing and share something. And I hope we all can be together one day. I do. Thank you.